Time now to welcome, and I hope I don't make our next guest a bit embarrassed, but one of the true legends in rock and roll, singer, songwriter, guitarist David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, about to release his second solo record. It's a hot one, and we'll world premiere some songs for you. Some stations across the country have received a 12-inch with a song on each side. We'll play those, but we have some others that have not been debuted yet, and we'll have those for you in just a few minutes. Rockline welcomes David Gilmour. Nice to see you here.
Thank you.
You have been working on this solo record for quite a while, almost a year now, I understand, since early '83.
The writing and everything, yeah, goes back a way. I didn't start recording it properly till July. So
Until July.
about 6 months of recording.
You can tell in listening to the record, which we're about to hear, that you really have spent some time on it. It's a very magical piece of music that you've come up with all the songs. What, David, is the current status of Pink Floyd? Where do we stand with the band?
It's gathering dust at the moment. You know, it's on hold. We haven't really made any decisions. No one has said that they're quitting. No one has said that they want to carry on. So we don't know. We're one day in the future we may decide to do something again, but I don't know.
So the rumors that Nick Mason and Richard Wright are out are
No,
unfounded.
Rick has gone.
Rick
has gone. He went some time ago. He went about the time of the Wall album, and but the other three of us are still at least on paper together.
We'll put you on the air with David Gilmour in just a moment. For right now, a song from, well, it's not even released yet, the entire LP, About Face. This one is called Blue Light on Rockline. That is definitely a major league piece of music, and you'll hear more a little later on. Blue Light from the forthcoming LP About Face. Although I guess that track is out now, along with one other. It's already been released.
To the radio station.
To the radio stations, yeah.
The single's coming out I'm not quite sure when. It must be any minute.
And the single will be All Lovers Are Deranged, and we'll hear that in just a few minutes, too. We have a call from Rome, New York. Our first this evening for David Gilmour, listening to WOUR 96.9 in Utica, is Mick. Hi.
Hey, how you doing, David?
Hi.
Hey, I was wondering if you were planning an upcoming tour with the release of your new album.
An upcoming tumor?
Tour.
Let's hope not.
An upcoming tour? Yes, I am. I shall be over here in the States in May and June.
And who's going to be in that band? Do you,
Mick Ralphs from Bad Company is coming with me, because he said he wanted to. I've got a bass player called Mickey Fiat, a drummer called Chris Slade, Ralph Ravenscroft, a horn player who plays on Baker Street on Jerry Rafferty's stuff. He's coming with me.
Right.
And a couple of other guys.
Chris Slade, for the record, has played with everyone from Tom Jones to Manfred Mann, and of course Mick Ralphs played with Mott the Hoople and Bad Company.
Right.
It's a pretty solid lineup for a road tour.
Yeah, they're a very good band.
And what are the dates for the U.S.? May and June?
May and June,
May
yeah.
and June. Thanks for the call, Mick. We have one from St. Louis for David now. KWK is our station. Jim, you're on Rockline.
Yes, hey, Dave.
Hi, Jim.
Are you going to have a concept movie for the final cut, such as other albums as The Wall?
A concept movie? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to make a movie for that one.
What about videos from your album, About Face? Do you have plans for that?
Yeah, we're going to make one. We haven't done it yet, but it's on the cards for as soon as I get back to England.
Have you chosen the song yet? All Lovers Are Deranged?
Well, Blue Light is the single.
Oh, Blue Light is the single.
Yeah. All Lovers Are Deranged is...
The B-side.
It's not actually the B-side. It's on the 12-inch. It's bent out everywhere.
Like I said, pay me no heed.
Yeah.
We'll get to the truth here. We'll take a call from Tennessee. Brett is on the line listening to WIMZ-FM. Hi, Brett.
Hi.
Hi, Brett.
Yes, David. I wanted to ask you, I've listened to a couple of your songs, like, for instance, Have a Cigar and Welcome to the Machine, and I got the idea that maybe you felt a little bit trapped by some of your music being held back in Pink Floyd, and I was wondering, with the album The Wall, was that a conglomeration of ideas of Pink Floyd towards the audience and the output the audience was giving back, or was it just another work of art in a phase of Pink Floyd, or was it a personal way of telling it leading up to the final cut that this is it?
I don't know. No, I didn't write the lyrics to The Wall or to those other ones you said. It's Roger's concept for those things. Roger certainly has felt her, and The Wall is all about Roger's feeling of alienation from his audiences. I don't actually share that view, so...
A lot of people thought that album was about Syd Barrett, but that's not the case. It's more about Roger than anyone.
Yeah, so he says.
And what songs did you contribute to on the wall? Comfortably Numb, Run Like Hell, and Young Lust?
Yes, I wrote the music for those three, yeah.
Those are three of the best songs in the album.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
We try.
We'll take a call from Lansing, Michigan for David Gilmour of Pink Floyd and solo artist David Gilmour, I should add. Tom is listening to the new 95 FM. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Tom.
I was wondering, what was Rick's reasons for leaving the group?
Well, complicated question, that. What do they say? Musical differences or mutual disagreements? He'd just had enough, I guess.
There were some reports, there were some rather catty comments that Roger made to the press when Rick left. Do you know anything about that? I read something to the effect of Roger saying that Richard never contributed that much to the band and didn't bother him that he was gone.
Richard had been doing less towards what we were doing together over a period of time. For some reason, I think he was not entirely happy with the type of things that we had between us agreed to do. And by the time it got to making the Wall album, he'd certainly more or less stopped. And it was inevitable that he would have to go.
We're going to world premiere a song from About Face by David Gilmour. And this song is a bit reminiscent of some of the earlier work by David Gilmour, perhaps Fat Old Son from one of the early Pink Floyd albums. This is called Murder. Some great guitar work by David Gilmour. The name of that song is Murder. It is from their forthcoming LP, About Face, the second solo effort by David Gilmour. Our next phone call is from Atlanta, where we'll be next week for Van Halen, an evening on the road with that band. 96 Rock is our station. Jack, you're on the show.
Yeah, David.
Hi, John.
My favorite Pink Floyd album is Wish You Were Here. What is your favorite and why?
Oh, good one.
Well, I don't really have favorites. It's usually the last one we did. Mind you, the last one we did isn't my favorite, so can't say that. My favorite one recently is the Wall one, I guess. But I don't know. I can't pin it down really.
That was a tour de force LP, without a doubt. And then, of course, there's Dark Side of the Moon, which 500 weeks in the chart. And you were telling me a moment ago that doesn't count the initial rush that album had up to number one.
Right. It went out of the charts in its first year, and that only counts consecutive weeks. So there's probably another 30 weeks or 20 or 30 weeks on there.
What an incredible feat. And if memory serves me well, you were touring before Dark Side of the Moon came out, actually performing the record.
Yeah, we were. It was called Eclipse before, and we were actually touring it quite a long time before it came out. We were touring it in 1972 over here.
And the first half of the concert was The Dark Side of the Moon, which had not been released, and the second half was Pink Floyd Standards, favorites from the past.
Metal and stuff, echoes and all those.
Yeah. It's Rockline live on the satellite from Hollywood. I'm Bob Coburn with David Gilmour. Next phone call from Agora, California, listening to KLOS. We have Tony on the show. Hi there.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Tony.
I got a question for you. When was the last time you saw Syd Barrett, and how is he? And has he got any plans for the future, or is he doing anything?
I haven't seen him since we were making the Wish You Were Here album, which is a long time ago, 1975. But I have spoken to people who see him fairly often, and there's not a lot you can say about him. He's about the same condition he's been in for a long time, which is not very good.
You were actually the second guitarist for Pink Floyd when you were hired on for the band, Sid being the first.
I'm the new boy here.
The new boy.
I've only been there 16 years.
There have been stories floating around that Pink Floyd has been taking care of Syd Barrett over the years financially. Is that true?
No. Well, in a way it is, because he still gets royalties, and some of those old records still sell a certain amount, and he still gets... still does receive royalties from the early records.
And how about the secret message on the wall that when you play it backwards, it says something that gives an address? That is that where Sid is institutionalized?
No, it's just a silly joke.
Rife rumors running around about that. Thanks for the call, Tony. We'll go to Kansas City now. Brent is on the line listening to KY102. Hi.
Hello, Dave.
Oh.
I just wanted to say I love your style, and I think it's just totally excellent.
Thank you.
And I was wanting to ask you a question about some of your album works with Pink Floyd. And I was wondering why Hypnosis didn't do some of your later work, like on the final cut.
It was time for a change. They didn't do The Wall either. they didn't actually design the animals cover. They took the photos. That you grow out of things. They did the work on this new album of mine. They didn't actually shoot the photos, but they put the album cover together.
But the concept is theirs, yeah. Thank you, Brent. We have Steve on the line in Washington, D.C., listening to 98 Rock in Baltimore. Steve, you're on Rockline.
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I've heard rumors in magazines and all that about your early work with Pink Floyd and how you said that you wasn't very good. Well, I was just wondering if those rumors were true.
Well, I don't know about not very good. There are some of the early albums that I'm not particularly keen on myself. I don't have a great affection for some of the albums. Like, I don't particularly have a particularly fond memory of them. So,
even Uma Guma, where each member of the band was able to showcase.
I was not really ready for doing that showcase, and it was hard work putting it together, and I don't think it was that successful.
Our next call for you, David, is from Albany, New York. Pix 106 is our station, and this is Pete. Hi.
How you doing, Dave? I'm really impressed with your new stuff.
Thank you.
Over the years, I noticed your style changed a lot since you've been playing for 15 years with Pink Floyd. What effects has Roger and Nick and Rick had on your style?
God, I don't know what effect they've had. I mean, they must have had some effect, but quite what it is, it's very hard to pin down, isn't it, what effect other people have. I mean, everyone has an effect on what I do. Every time I listen to a good guitar player, I'm sure it has some sort of effect on me. Always trying to imitate Eddie Van Halen or someone.
There's someone who definitely had an effect in this next song because he did the lyrics for you, and that's Pete Townsend. The song is All Lovers Are Deranged, which we promised we would play. How did you get together with Pete? Did you write the song together, or did you present music to him? How did this happen?
I met him in his studio when we were doing some piano on the Final Cut album. And he told me he liked my last solo album and offered his help at any time in the future if I needed it for anything. And when it was getting near the end of this album and I was still stuck on a few lyrics, I thought I'd take him up on his offer, so I rang him up and said, would he write some lyrics? And he said, sure. So I sent him down the tracks, more or less finished backing tracks, and he dug through the reams of paper that he has with lyrics and poetry and stuff on, and found some that sort of suited and worked on them a bit to make them fit in.
Oh, yes. Music by David Gilmour, lyrics by Pete Townsend, All Lovers Are Deranged from About Face by David Gilmour. Back to the telephones we go here. David from Atherton, California, listening to KRQR in San Francisco is Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, Dave.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, I just want to first of all say that I just love all the work that you guys have done at Pink Floyd. You're by far my favorite group.
Thank you.
And here's my question. I know that since Dark Side of the Moon, almost all of your albums have been contest albums dealing with serious issues. I want to know if you place the same importance on lyrical content in your solo albums as Roger Waters had.
I do place a lot of importance on the lyrical content, and I've tried, and it's tough to make these ones quite good on this album, but you'll have to judge for yourself.
Really, that's not really for you to say. That's for the person who listens to the record.
How can you pass comment on your own stuff? It's very difficult.
Thanks for the call, Jeff. We have Mike on the line in Kansas City. Our affiliate there is KY102. Mike, talk with David Gilmour.
Yeah, David, I had a couple questions for you. One, I was wondering what inspired you to write Comfortably Numb? And two, was any of Pink Floyd's music, especially the older music like Metal and Ummagumma, were they influenced in any way by drugs?
Well, to answer the second one first, I don't think so. It's never been one of our major influences, I don't think. It was reported to be, it was highly rumored and widely speculated that it was one of our prime importance influences when in our early days. But when I first joined the band, Roger and Nick were very keen on a drink, but that was all they ever went near. So no is the answer to that. I wrote Comfortably Numb when I was making my first solo album, in fact. I wrote the music and put a demo of it down when I was doing my first solo album, and it just came up. We needed something on the Wall album, and I had it sort of on a demo tape.
You seem so low-key about all of this. This is a very, very important band. Surely you have a sense of that you've been a major part of rock and roll for back to the 60s. Or do you not think about things like that? Do you know your own influence?
I can't see it quite the same way as other people must see it from the outside. I must admit, it's just the career I'm in, and one does whatever one can do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how important it is in the grand scheme of things, but it's been good fun.
We'll be back with a very modest David Gilmour on Rockline in just a moment. And your number to call is toll-free 800-421-3222. Time to world premiere another song from the LP About Face by David Gilmour. The name of this one is Until We Sleep. The album About Face by David Gilmour has not been released generally, and we certainly don't want to alienate anyone, so we just played a portion of that song. There'll be more when you actually purchase the record. That'll be side one, cut one, by the way. We have more time with David Gilmour, solo artist, and from Pink Floyd. Our next call from Lexington, Kentucky. FM 98 WQ is our affiliate, and Dennis, hello.
Hello to Dave.
Hi.
I'm Floyd's biggest fan in the world.
Really?
I've followed every album from the Barrett days.
That big?
And yeah, you're the greatest. And I'm your biggest fan too. And I've always thought that you play with more feeling than any other guitarist. You really seem to make every note count when you play on all the stuff you've ever done. Like Dark Side and Echoes, Wish You Were Here, and also especially on Dogs and Animals. But you were great.
Thank you.
And I was wondering who your early influences were, and like where did you develop your slide technique, and who you listened to in your early days?
Oh, I listened to everyone from Pete Seeger upwards.
Huh.
It's very hard to say who your influences are, because I'd steal a lick from anyone. Not fussy.
And what about the slide technique? Were you taught that, or something?
No, I just picked it up. I use like a lap steel. I don't do slide with a bottleneck on a regular guitar like a lot of people. I do it on a type of lap steel thing.
Dennis is right, though. You really convey a lot of emotion into your playing. You can really sense the passion that's in there. And that's one of the things that makes music good, is when it has that commitment and conviction. We'll go to Chicago. FM 98 WLUP is our affiliate. Bill, it's your turn.
Yeah, Dave.
So, Bill.
Hey, I have two questions for you. First of all, I'd like to say that your first solo album is one of the best I've ever heard of all time. And I hope your second one does as good. And my questions are, did you use Rick Willis or Willie Wilson on your second solo?
No, I used other people on the second one.
A lot of people on the second one. And also, when Sid Barrett was at the Wish You Were Here session, did he have any influence or do anything with Floyd at the time?
No, he was just visiting.
Just there.
Yeah.
I have to take a moment, David, and did you have more to say? Go ahead.
I was just going to say that the musicians on this new album are the drummer's Jeff Porcaro from Toto, that you all know well, and the bass player's Pino Palladino, who's in the Paul Young band, who have had a record out here just recently, I think. And
so you've got a good lineup this time, too, yeah.
Not those old ones, not those old friends of mine who are on the island.
I have to take a moment and mention the Ozzy Osbourne sweepstakes. Again, the grand prize is a trip to San Diego to see Ozzy in concert, including hotel accommodations, rental car, $100, two tickets, backstage pass, free chicken, David says. There'll be 100 runners-up with all kinds of prizes. The deadline for entries is this Wednesday, so mail us a card, Rockline, P.O. Box S, Tarzana, California, 91356. David Gilmour, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've enjoyed Pink Floyd's music as much as anyone over the years, and what you've done is a major contribution to all of us, and it's appreciated.
Thank you.
And the solo record is terrific. Look for it. I want to let you know that coming next week, an evening with Van Halen on the road live from Atlanta. Thanks to Quiet Riot and David Gilmour, I'm BC, and I'll be seeing you in a week.